this week's video a week later than I would have liked for it to go up, but nevertheless, it's Tony to kick off the series of Team Iron Man cards. I apologize for uploading a week late. Last weekend, my dad and I went up to visit some family that live in a different state than we do, so I wanted to just focus on spending time with them and not have to worry about getting a video edited and voiceovered and uploaded, so just took a little week off. Plus, I've been kind of run down. I'm working 2 jobs now and taking part-time classes, so I've got a kind of full schedule, so it was just a nice break to kind of unwind a little bit. In addition to being just tired in general from work and school, I've also had a scratchy throat for probably a week or 2 now, so I apologize if my voice is a little harsh in the next few videos, but I'm slowly getting back to normal, so hopefully it'll be back to the way it usually is soon. So a little bit about this piece now that the line art is done. When I sketch characters that have facial hair, I normally just do a little bit of a shadow where they do have like a beard or mustache or something. But when I ink, I obviously don't fill that in because it look weird and out of place on the face in my opinion. So this entire coloring process to me didn't even feel like Tony at all, just because he didn't have the little goatee and beard combo he has, so I don't know, to me it just didn't look like him till the end when I colored that in and it kind of came together. But I wanted to give Tony a pose that would kind of reflect his personality, so he might be a bit more bold per se as a baseball player than Steve would be, so I tried to give him like a little smug little smirk or something. I don't know, just make him look unique. And initially I wasn't gonna color their uniform with this kind of an orangish red that I normally use as my light color when I'm coloring in a red, but it kind of looked weird and a little too dark without it, so I just went with it. But with their jerseys, where on Team Cap's uniforms they had the shield on the chest, I wanted to give them Tony's arc reactor, and on the arm it's kind of cut off just because of his angle, but I added the Iron Man helmet, and then I gave them a few little gold trim areas, I guess you could say, on the sleeve and the side and the collar, which I'll be coloring in just a little bit. So I wanted to make them at least distinguishable from Team Cap's. I didn't want them to look too similar, but I also wanted to make it like, oh yeah, I could point that out as Team Iron Man's uniform. And this is where I made my first mistake. Initially, I was going to make that undershirt a yellow to kind of make it blend with the rest of the uniform with the gold trim, but it blended a little too much in my opinion. It kind of got lost in the shadow, and there's a lot of area of yellow, so I go back in just a little bit over it with a lighter blue. So on Tony it looks green in the end, but in the rest of the cards I just went with the straight blue. I didn't try to make it look even with Tony and make it look like green. the names for Team Iron Man, I didn't want them to look like Team Caps, but I also wanted to have them to have that mid-century feel. So I went in first with the yellow and just filled in the letters, and then I traced around it, as you can see, with the T and O, with a red, which kind of looks messy to me, especially in some of the other cards. I made some of the letters too thin, so the red would kind of bleed into the yellow, and it just looked kind of messy to me, but oh, there's nothing else I can do about it now. And here comes mistake number 2. So with the background, with Team Cap, I gave it a light blue, so it didn't look streaky with the marker, but with this one, I didn't have a marker already that I wanted to use, because I wanted to go with kind of a light red, but not a pink. So I ordered one online, since my local Michaels didn't have it in stock, so I couldn't see it in person first, but it looked real streaky when I colored it in, and I knew that coloring over it again to make it less streaky would make it darker, and I didn't want everything to drown out in the background, so it looks a little messier than I would have liked, but I do like the color in the end, so that's good. And that is it for the first video of Team Iron Man. I'm actually really happy with how Tony turned out. Like I said before, I think drawing the facial hair really brought it together for me. Next up will be Rhodey, so stay tuned for the next video next week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.